Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. So, where in the world are you? What's been going down?
Currently, I'm in my parents' house in Melbourne, in Australia. I've been here probably like a month already, and God knows when I'll go back kind of thing, so we'll see.
How's it been being back with your family for a month? I'm sure that's quite rare for you nowadays.
That's the crazy thing about, I think, this virus is like, it's looking so different for everyone. And for me, I'm just like the luckiest person. It literally looks like spending time with my family in the way that I haven't in like years. We're doing family dinner like every single night. And my mom is like, you know, coming into my room in the morning being like, can I make you a coffee, babe?
Oh.
Like, just like loving having us all at home and stuff. So I'm just kind of enjoying the slow down pace for a second and getting creative again and just like making random stuff. I'm literally picking clay off of my hand right now from like making random shit out of clay.
You work with clay, a multimedia artist. Love that. What are you making?
So far, I've made a little ashtray, I've made a little vase, I've made these two little faces, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Let's talk about the new single. I love it so much. Take Yourself Home. Tell me a little bit about how the song came together.
So I wrote it in Sweden. I wrote it a good few months ago now, and I always knew that it was going to be the first song that people were going to hear, you know, post like Bloom or whatever. But in my head, it was going to come out like maybe end of the year or something like that. Like I was just going to chill until I filmed a music video and done all this stuff. And then for me, the song personally was just like kind of a really tough conversation to have with myself, almost like a little like pep talk or whatever, just asking tough questions like, are you really happy where you are, doing what you're doing? Who do you want to spend your time with? All this stuff, you know? And then when all of this stuff started going down and I was home and I'd literally like taken myself home, and that took on another meaning kind of thing. And then I also just think that the whole world started having those conversations with themselves, because I think that this time forced us all to reflect on like what's actually important to us, and this very humbling experience of being reminded that, you know, we can make plans and like the universe like laughs, or whatever that saying is. That I think that's become really apparent. So I think having those conversations and kind of like checking in with yourself is something that is really important and that everyone is kind of doing right now. And so I wanted to release the song early, and so we released it early, and in the process I've managed to employ a bunch of people remotely, because that was another big concern of mine, was like all these people, these creators that I would normally love to work with in person, I just can't right now. And so trying to get creative about how we can make it all work from afar, that seemed really exciting to me too.
There's nothing like home to like kind of make you reflect and go back to yourself. And I was just wondering what it was like for you then when you finally did get home, you know, like what were the feelings that you were having once you got home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of just like kind of validated my thoughts and sort of like gave me a little thumbs up, like, yeah, you know, you were right. The things that really are important to you are like family, and I've grown up my entire life walking distance to like parks. You know, there's just lots of parks in Australia. In LA, I have to get in my car to drive to a park where I live, and so just something small like that I, you know, don't really give much thought. I get back here and it's just like I can kind of breathe this sigh of relief, you know, back with kind of all of the stuff that really makes sense to me and that feels like home for me. I feel very relieved to be back. Yeah.
Has it given you like a new perspective on your time in LA then? Because I know you've been there for a few years, right?
I think like a lot of people, I'm realizing that I can work from anywhere, which is cool. I mean, obviously some work requires, you know, being in person. Like I'm very excited to be able to make music videos again, very excited to be able to shoot, you know, photos and stuff like that. But a lot of the work that I do can be done from online. And so I think it's making me kind of reassess a little bit and be like, okay, well, maybe LA is not like a full-time thing for me anymore. Maybe I can start splitting my time a little bit more, or, you know, do I want to maybe like have somewhere in Melbourne that I call home as well, that I can, go back and forth. I'm not sure yet, but it's definitely opened up my mind a little bit.
Yeah. When a lot of people think about home, they think about maybe it's not always like the best place for them. Maybe like particularly for queer people, like hometowns, if you come from like a rural area or whatever, it's kind of like a difficult place to be, and you just want to kind of get out of there. I was wondering if you ever had an experience like that where, you know, when you were younger, you just felt like, I need to leave this place.
Totally. I mean, 100%. That was a big theme of like, I feel like my childhood was just kind of like waiting with bated breath to be able to get out, you know, and only once I had left, did I start to kind of realize how much I love where I grew up and everything like that. And I also think it's like, it's one of those things where I probably would go crazy spending too much time here. You know what I mean? Like in this exact situation that I'm in now. So it's like, I just feel really lucky that I can move around and kind of, you know, do a bit of both and have that kind of like balance. But I'm just in an interview. Sorry, I mean, that's what happens when you do them at home.
It's your mum with a cup of tea.
I don't know, she's probably asking me, maybe like groceries or something.
At the end of the song, you've got this really like housey breakdown, which I like literally love. It was so unexpected when you're listening to it. It really catches your attention. I was wondering if that is reflective of maybe some other songs that you've written. Are you like thinking about trying that direction a little bit more in your music?
Well, so I think the really important thing for this next like project, I don't want to call it an album because I think it's too short for that, and it's not really an EP because it's like too long for that. The most important thing was for me that it told a story, like above pop structure and above all of these other things that I normally keep in mind. I really wanted to tell the story lyrically, melodically, and in the productions, and of course in the visuals. So at every point there's kind of something to dig into, and I think for me with Take Yourself Home, I've always known that these moments of feeling lost, a thing that makes me feel alive and like a bit of a pinch or a shock or something like that is going out. It's not my natural place, you know, so I don't really go out that much or anything like that. And so when I do, it can be an extremely like cathartic experience for me, and I've always found like queer spaces to be extremely cathartic experiences, and I've had a lot of very like formative moments, I feel like, in gay clubs or at bars and stuff like that, you know, and I wanted to kind of bring that part of the story into the music. And so it was like, you know, Take Yourself Home, all about kind of going back to basics and going back to family and friends and stuff, and also having that moment where you like completely let loose.
How far in the project did you get before this like lockdown happened?
It's pretty much done, like musically, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm like getting mixes back and stuff like that at the moment.
Okay, cool. So we're not thinking an album then, but something a bit different.
Yeah, so I mean, I stopped writing when I felt like, so there's like, there was this moment in my life that I was writing about, and then when I was finished with the last song on it, I was like, okay, you know, even though the story is still like unfolding, that's that chapter closed, and like I just felt I had explored it and explored, you know, every sort of moment, you know, of like, for example, in Take Yourself Home, there's like sort of two moments there where it's like the introspective conversation with myself, and then like the wild crazy night out, and you know, exploring all of these different kind of like layers or whatever to the situation. There was just a point where I felt like I'd kind of told that story, and now yeah, I know that the next project will be the continuation of that story, but yeah, it just felt like a right place to kind of cap it off. And that also kind of is why I wanted to look really different. It just feels like such a specific memory and like such a specific time in my life. This person that was going through all that stuff that I like kind of hardly recognize myself. I wanted a physical representation of that as well.
Is that the red wig?
It is, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Love that wig.
I wish I had that wig. It's crap.
You actually kind of look like a video game character in some of the artwork.
Yeah, I definitely think I wanted to look like kind of like otherworldly a little bit, you know. I just felt so out of place at the time and so lost that like nothing was making sense, you know what I mean? So it was like I wanted to show that in some sort of physical way.
Was that the first choice of wig? This is really like bad journalism, but I need to know about the wig.
No. So the wig actually custom made, so it was the first choice. So it's the only wig. I have like 3D scans of my head. I have all this crazy so that the wig maker could go and like do it.
No way.
Yeah, so it's the only wig right now, but my goal is to have like a full collection.
a closet of wigs to choose from.
Yeah, so that I can just like swap them out.
When you were starting this project then, did you have a very clear vision of what you wanted to do, or has it taken, you know, a few missteps or just, you know, a bit of experimentation to get to it? With
the songwriting process, there really was no such thing as like a misstep, because the focus was so much on like the storytelling. I wasn't really concerned about like, oh no, this one doesn't feel like, you know, poppy enough, or this one doesn't feel this enough. As long as it felt like honest and true and told a valid part of the story, I seriously considered putting it on, or it probably made it. Obviously, I guess things are still very much up in the air, but do you have any expectations around release date or when this material might come out? Not really. So I mean, that's also kind of a cool thing, is that the situation has, like globally, has totally informed the release as well. And I've always wanted to kind of like release something in a really free-flowing way where you kind of, again, let the story of the music sort of dictate how you release. So it's like, okay, cool, you know, I feel like people have absorbed this and that kind of part of the story has been told. Let's move on to the next bit. But normally with music releases, things can end up feeling quite rigid, and I just didn't want to do that. So I have no idea when anything's coming out. It could be really, really soon. It's exciting because it's like, if I could, this is my label calling me literally right now to ask me this exact question. I could answer and be like, let's release it next week. And they'll be like, yeah, sweet. Like, I'm really lucky. I've got a very cool, understanding team. So it will be soon. I can't imagine it's going to be more than like a few months or something. At the moment, my goal is I want to try and get a video out for Take Yourself Home. Yeah. And so I don't think it'll be live action. I think it's going to be something more interesting than that, hopefully. And then I'll probably put out another song after that.
Great. And can we expect any special guests, any friends to appear on the records?
I don't think so. I think with this one, it just kind of happened so like organically, and we were just having so much fun in the studio, and like I cried and stuff like that. It was just so personal and so free flowing and so kind of like honest that I didn't really have time to think about, you know, oh, like it would be sick to do a collaboration with this person on this song or whatever. It's kind of the same like very small crew. Some of the songs are very like tight knit.
I guess last question really, but I guess this time of quarantine, it's forced people to be more reflective. So has that kind of made you think about where you want to be like in 5 years, 10 years? Has it made you kind of hone in on what the end goal is for you?
I just want to be able to remain creative. Like that's my biggest goal, is that my career allows me to just like keep making stuff. To make stuff as a career is just the most insane blessing, and I just really want to keep that up. So it's like, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to be. At the moment, it's like architecture and interior design is the sort of like thing, I guess, that I'm finding myself most excited about, and of course music. And I think I was supposed to be doing I think 2 movies this year. I definitely know one because I was halfway through filming it when I had to come home. I don't really know. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm just enjoying making stuff and being creative, and yeah, we'll see.
My God, you dropped that right at the end. 2 movies.
The one is really, really up in the air now because they hadn't even started filming or anything like that when all of this happened, so I have no idea what's happening there. But the other one, we were like halfway through filming, so wow. I'm sure at some point this year, maybe I'm gonna go back,
get back into character. And then also, of course, your most important art form, clay.
Oh my God, and clay, I forgot to say. Yeah, I want to try by the end of the quarantine. I want to have made a ceramic lamp. That's my goal. Ooh. Like a bedside lamp.
Oh my God. Okay, we look forward to seeing that lamp.
Thank you. I'm going to try. Now I've said it in the world, so now I have to do it.
Yeah, Troye, you know what? It's so good being a fan of yours, because I feel like each time when you release new music, you really elevate it. And I think this single has done it again. So I can't wait to listen to the rest of the record.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you to hear it.
All right, Troye. Have a nice day.
You too.
See you later. Bye.